Welcome back, friends. I'm Yvonne Davis, author, astrologer, and life transformation coach. And today I'm making a video on the Leo Aquarius full moon, which will be August 3rd at around noon Eastern. That's on the East Coast, okay? So this moon is really about having a breakthrough. And before I go over to that chart, I want to ask anyone who is watching this video, I hope that you have subscribed to my YouTube astrology channel. If you haven't, please do. And also to my financial freedom channel. And I'll put the links below. I'm currently building a new channel because I want to be able to expand my repertoire. And just doing astrology feels a little too constricting, so I'm really wanting to be able to branch out. And so I would really appreciate your support if you would go over to that Financial Freedom channel and subscribe. Check it out. You know, maybe later, if it's not what you're interested in, you could unsubscribe, but just if you're willing to help me get to 1,000 subscribers, I would really appreciate that. That would help me so much. I also want to thank everyone who has been a patron, whether currently or in the past. And I want to express appreciation for everyone who has subscribed to either or both of my YouTube channels. I have to remember that I can't do this if you guys aren't there for me. And so no matter what you're doing, I hugely, hugely appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, so let's go ahead and look at that full moon and see what that's going to bring. Okay, so as I said, this is the Leo Aquarius full moon on August 3rd, 2020. It's around noon on the East Coast. So this full moon right here at 11 degrees of Aquarius, 46 minutes, is opposite the sun at 11 degrees Leo, 46 minutes. That's what makes a full moon, that opposition of the moon and the sun. And it's in a T-square to Uranus over here. And so you can see that this is Uranus at 10 degrees of Taurus, 38 minutes. So that's really pretty close. That's definitely a T-square. You can see it here. The square coming down here, 90-degree angle, the square coming over here. So that forms what we call a T-square, okay? We also have Mercury in opposition to Saturn. And basically what that means is that we will be, in some sense, restrained, forced to wait. Mercury is all about the mind and what we're thinking about and what we're trying to communicate. Documentation, anything to do with any kind of documentation, whether that's legal, financial, relational, emotional, creative. It really doesn't matter. It can come in any form. It also includes the technology that we use to communicate. And so you may be waiting for something. You may be waiting for a communication or some kind of documentation. Like I said, that could be anything. It could be a communication from some relationship you're in, or could be financial, could be legal, just anything, virtually anything you are waiting for that is a form of communication. It will be delayed with Saturn there. And the other side is to consider that Saturn is also changing the way you're thinking about things. You're thinking about things in a more practical way. Now, you may be frustrated by the restraints and limitations that Saturn is bringing, but Saturn wants you to think in a very practical way. And that will help to balance some of the other aspects going on. Like, for example, this Mars square to Jupiter. Because Mars wants to take action. Mars gets really frustrated and angry when it can't move forward. And when you expand that with the square to Jupiter in Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn, Mars is just like, oh, like a racehorse at the gate. It just wants to move forward, and that Jupiter is expanding that intense energy, okay? So this can be really good if you put it to constructive use, okay? If you're just spinning your wheels or getting angry at people, getting frustrated, and taking that out, your feelings of anger and frustration and resentment on other people, that's not helpful. We've seen that happening in the political realm with one person in particular, whose name I shall not say, like Harry Potter. But you know who I'm talking about. So yeah, it can really blow it up, you know. You could be a blowhard. That's a good way to think about Mars square Jupiter. But that's the shadow side. Every planet has a positive and a negative side to it. And so what we want to do is take that inflated energy and put it to good use, okay? For creativity, sports, athletics, anything that requires a lot of energy, because Mars is the planet of energy. Mars is a warrior. Mars wants to take action. So get out there and take action, but make it very productive and constructive, okay? Now the full moon is all about completion, endings, culmination, fruition. Maybe you have a project that you're bringing to completion, or some aspect of that project may be brought to fruition. So depending on what house this is falling in, could be relational, could be financial, could be creative, could be physical. And hopefully you have a chart of your own. And if you don't, all of my patrons at the $5 or $10 tier are welcome to request a free birth chart from me. So you can either email me or you can put it in the comments below, and I'll respond to that, okay? So let's see what else we've got going on in this chart. We've also got Venus up here conjunct the North Node, which is, she's moving into a tighter conjunction. You can see she's 2 degrees apart. That's already a conjunction, but as she gets closer and closer and closer, that will have a very beneficial effect, because Venus is called the lesser benefic. Jupiter is the greater benefic, and Venus is the lesser benefic, but they're 2 very benefic planets. And so when Venus is moving into conjunction with the North Node, which is the direction of our evolution, she is helping to take us toward our future in a very positive way. So I would say for the most part, this chart is extremely favorable. The only thing I'm not completely sure about how it's going to manifest is this Uranus T-square to the full moon, okay? Because Uranus rules Aquarius, and that's where the full moon is. And Uranus is the lightning bolt. Uranus is the planet of fireworks, revolutions, earthquakes, tornadoes, tsunamis, nuclear power, all kinds of things. And when it's in Taurus, which is an earth sign, they can bring earthquakes and tsunamis. So, and volcanic eruptions and all those kinds of things, because it's in that earth sign. So it can bring those kinds of earth changes. One thing I heard about in the news was that there is a dam, a major dam in China that has been getting cracks in it. And they've been trying to release some of the water from that. And it's causing flooding. But, you know, it'll be even worse if that dam actually breaks. So I guess I have to say, I don't want to see human beings' lives just devastated by something like that. But those kind of things do happen. So we might see something like that. I'm not saying specifically the dam in China. I'm just saying something like that. Maybe that will, but it's just an example of the kind of thing that can come with Uranus in Taurus T-square the full moon, especially with the moon in Uranus, which is, I mean, in Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus. So, yeah, and you know, the moon affects water as well. So when the moon is full, it can have an even greater impact on water. So that there is a risk there for something to happen with Uranus in Taurus. That's the Earth, bringing about some kind of earthquake, tsunami, volcanic eruption. But you know, a dam crumbling can also be an example of that, especially with the moon affecting water, because the moon is a water sign. So I'm hoping it won't have anything to do with nuclear power, but that's another possibility. So so we'll just hope for the best where that's concerned. Now, as far as our lives, how will this impact our lives? I would say that Uranus brings potential for a major breakthrough, okay? Because that's the other thing that Uranus can do. It can bring breakdowns, but it can also bring breakthroughs. And in a square to the full moon, that's something we would expect. We would expect something in our lives to come to fruition, come to culmination, that Uranus comes in just like this powerful lightning bolt to shatter things that are not working. If there's any weakness in the system, Uranus can come in and shatter that. And so that can be the downside of the square from Uranus, but the good side is that we can learn something important from that. And doesn't necessarily mean that anything bad is going to happen. Sometimes it'll just inject a lightning bolt of inspiration, and you see things differently than you ever saw them before. So we'll hope that that's what will come from this. That's why I'm calling it a breakthrough, because the best way that this could possibly manifest is for Uranus to inject a lightning bolt of inspiration, to have a major breakthrough, and to bring about some important change in your life that brings closure to something that maybe was, that you were longing to complete, okay? That you were longing to finish up. So again, the only downside that I really see in this chart is the Mercury opposition to Saturn, which, as I said, can help us to ground in practical reality. That's good, but it may create some delay in terms of any kind of communication that you may be waiting for, or that you may be wanting to offer to someone else, that you may feel a little bit hindered, limited, stymied, you know, to communicate whatever you need to communicate, or receiving a communication, any kind of communication. Okay, so I think that's about it for today. And if you have comments, please feel free to leave them below. And again, if you haven't subscribed to both my channels, Astrology channel and Financial Freedom, I'm really sincerely requesting that you would do that and help me out, because I'm just so longing to be able to expand that Financial Freedom channel and to be able to offer more of my knowledge and experience to people for free. All right, so that's it for today, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye-bye.